Candy.
Well, hello.
Oh, I love Candy for My Brain, episode 836. Welcome.
Welcome.
How
We
are
had to take
you?
a break from talking about life updates and stuff. Like, oh crap, we got a job to do. Well, we got a podcast to
We
record.
have a job to do. We
I
were
I could have gone like
kvetching.
down the road of kvetching and chit chatting with you and for 4
It's
more
been very
hours.
eventful around here. A lot of nonsense in the
Right.
online world
God.
in our lives.
I
But
love when you rustle papers.
Fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. How are you otherwise? How is your real life?
My real life it's good. It's like highs and lows. You know, I think here's the low. The lows come from unrealistic expectations of myself. I am very grateful for a physical therapist because they are great at giving me a little bit of insight into what I'm actually capable of right now. And I've been beating myself up about like not climbing mountains and going to the gym and lifting heavy weights and blah, blah, blah. I've just been like walking and going to yoga. And the physical therapist was doing work yesterday on my stomach and feeling around. And she's like, oh, yeah, you've got all of these are all knots. Like you can't. She basically gave me the prescription, like, you can't be lifting heavy things. You can't be doing all this stuff. We
What
got
are
to
these
work
knots?
through. I didn't know either, but she started, Susie.
Muscles?
She said there's just years of stress and tension from the endometriosis that's in there that's caused all this strain in my muscles. And she said also, like, emotions are attached to all of these places. I don't know why, but she pressed on one part of my stomach and I burst into tears. Like, I was like, oh no, I'm going to cry. And she goes, this happens all the time.
What?
She goes, that's what they always say. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
They're always like, yeah, this happens. She's like, you just hold everything in these places.
Yeah, I was just reading this about how the reason why yoga is so effective is because we've learned in the last few years how the vagus nerve and all that jazz, and then the adrenal glands sit right beneath your ribs, and like, so when
that's
you slouch,
where she was pushing.
yeah, like when you slouch all day, like at work, you feel like garbage, but when you do meditation and yoga and you like align your body and then sit up straight and all that, it's like relief.
Yeah.
Oh, it's science.
And it felt so good.
My God.
She was like, yeah, and we're just getting through the first, this is going to take some time. She's like, it'll take maybe 5 to 10 sessions of this to get through all the stuff there. I'm like,
I want to go to
okay.
physical therapy.
I know, right?
I
I was like, oh.
Sounds great.
I went for my plantar fasciitis. And she said, I have amazing ankle flexibility. Did I ever talk about this?
Not specifically the ankle or the plantar fasciitis.
She said I had amazing ankle flexibility. And I've been doing great stretching. Now I need to work on strengthening.
I love it. I love these like old lady ailments that you have. Sarah's gonna have like gout.
I have to
I don't even know what that is.
I have to stand on one leg with my eyes closed for 30 seconds every day.
That's hard.
I know. She said, and I'm trying to do a minute, and the next step is like touching my nose.
Well, that is.
She's like, if you could do that, you'll have your health your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So
that is the truth.
That's my update on my life. It's just, old lady shit. How about you?
You should start doing water aerobics. You know how old ladies love that?
I would love that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Old ladies know what's up.
They do.
And they don't give a shit.
It's the best.
I mean, Sarah already has like all the swim caps and stuff.
Right. I got it. They're in my trunk, ready to go.
You're all set.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it, shall we?
What about you? What's your life? What are you doing? You doing
I
any
don't
water
really have
aerobics?
any good stories. I wish I had stories. No, I'm not doing water aerobics. But you know how I have that weird pool? It sounds luxurious. But I have this weird pool in my house that is neither like a hot tub or a pool size. It's just like this thing in between. That would be great for water aerobics if we filled
Yes,
that
it
thing up,
would. It would be.
right?
Yes. What if you hosted weekly water aerobics with
That'd
Adam
be
would
more
love
like
that.
a
I could
my
see Adam getting really into it.
totally.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. You never know what's going to happen over here at the Butler household.
Yep.
Okay, let's start with, obviously we have to talk about how there's a rattlesnake den in Colorado with thousands of snakes. I figured you knew already.
What are you saying?
Pretty much every brainiac sent me this clip.
Clip?
Yeah, there's like a webcam that you can watch them at all hours. Thousands of
Why would you
rattlesnakes.
want to do that?
Well, the scientists want that too, and I
Okay.
get that. But then I think there's some enthusiasts.
Oh, the word den with snakes
Den.
is. I am on the fourth floor, and I cannot put my feet on the ground right now.
I feel like your phobia of rattlesnakes it's contagious because I hate them more than I used to.
No, here's what it was, Suze. I blame our podcast, and here's why. You taught me about undulating.
Yeah.
And then it was over. And then you taught, actually, it's your fault. I did nothing. You brought it. I don't bring in these weird serpentine stories. You're the one who brought in the story about the snakes flying out of the trees.
Right.
I
Listen.
brought one fake boa story.
People need to know. I am just telling the people, don't kill the messenger, Sarah.
I'm just saying.
All right, well, I got another one for you because evidently there's this den of thousands of rattlesnakes right next to your house, and they have this webcam. So
like
people,
where next to my house?
Well, they won't say because they can't tell you the location because they don't want either enthusiasts or haters coming and ruin their den.
Oh, god damn.
Okay, but here's
so
the thing.
Those words I hate.
So I read this article in The Guardian about it, and I swear it was written by a snake because these are some of the quotes from it.
Did a snake write this?
This expert said, rattlesnakes are really good mothers. People don't know that. That is a literal
Experts
quote.
in the same way I'm an expert in women.
Right.
This is an expert in snakes.
Yeah. Okay, snake.
As in M1. Oh, God.
And like, this is another quote. Rattlesnakes get a bum rap as creepy and threatening. That's like saying I get a bum rap for having bleached hair.
It's just like one of their trademark signature things.
They are literally creepy and threatening.
That is their move.
Then it said,
yeah, and that's what they are.
They're social animals. They don't go out of their way to be aggressive. I'm telling you, a snake wrote it.
Social animals.
We don't go out of our way.
Listen, they are not social in the same way that you and I think of social. I'm not inviting any of those snakes over to my house. Yeah. A dog is social.
Yeah, the mob is social too, but I don't want to like hang out in their den.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's very funny.
Okay. And then it said like this same expert. Snake said, I try to speak up for the underdog and to show people that rattlesnakes have this other side that's really worthy of our admiration.
Nope.
Underdog?
Nope.
Nobody thinks a snake is an underdog.
No.
Have you seen rattlesnakes?
Right. No. Oh, nope. And I'm sorry. You can't be an underdog and hold 3 of the 10 spots on the most deadliest animals list.
Yeah, Sarah.
Those don't match.
Yeah.
What are you?
Yeah.
Underdog or top predator?
Can't have it both ways, snakes.
Can't have it both ways, snakes. Sorry about it.
There's a reason
and you know what? I imagine those like cute little like garden snakes that are so teeny tiny, and those guys are like, "What about me?"
I mean,
and I'm like, "Okay, you guys are fine."
They kind of get a bad
really
rap.
Cute. The ones that are green and the ones that are so skinny.
Yeah, and they mind their beeswax.
And those guys are cute. I can use that as a shoelace. They're adorable.
Yeah, I know. But they're the victims, though,
Ugh.
because
The big ones. Right.
the rattlesnakes are the reason that snakes have a bad
Oh
reputation.
no. This is a metaphor for reality television.
It is.
We are the garden
we're just little
snakes.
gardener
We're
snakes.
just little. Wait.
I
What
know,
word are
it's
you saying?
It's Gartner, I know, or whatever.
I'm saying it wrong.
Oh, what are you saying?
Thought it was garden snake.
Well, maybe it is.
Is there
Let's
such
look.
thing as a garden snake? If there isn't, that feels like just a cute generic.
Yeah, it's what I said. It's called a garter snake, but I think because it sounds like garden and then we say gardener snake or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's garter
Well,
with a T.
you learn something new every day, don't you?
Yeah, and I learned I don't want to be anywhere near this GD den of nightmares.
Oh. Rattlesnakes too?
Sick. Yeah.
Those are the worst ones.
They're rattlers. I thought you should know.
That I escaped one place where there were dens of rattlesnakes and moved to another place where there were dens of rattlesnakes. I don't like that.
Have you ever seen any in
Absolutely,
Denver?
all the time. Oh, in Denver? No.
Okay, good.
No, not once. In fact, I didn't even think I was coming from a place that was heavily where I saw them all the time. Every other walk, I would see a snake.
Well, so things are improving.
Things are improving, but I was like trotting about all like willy-nilly with my shorts on and my not ankle boots, and now I'll be like singing a different tune on the
Sarah's
trails
gonna get
because I
waders.
gotta be like, Susie, you think waders or gators?
Which ones are which?
Well, waders are the full length, and gators are just the ones that go from your like they strap up on your calves, and they just provide coverage like
It's a nice
over your
compromise.
boot. So then,
Oh yeah.
if you're going through the brush, you don't get any ticks or don't get any. Yeah.
Just stay inside. That's what I do.
Yeah,
And I sit there and then I get my Green Chef recipe out and I start cooking.
I just ordered a Green Chef.
They are
Yep.
so good.
Yep. And I want people to know this.
Okay.
When I say that I ordered it, I mean that I used my hard-earned money,
Yeah.
the
You're
pennies
a
that I
customer.
have to spend. This is where I choose to spend my money because I know what a good deal it is. And so when people are like, "Oh, do they really use a sponsor?" Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
or people think that we just get the stuff and that's
Mhm.
no, I'm buying it.
Yep. It's so
I'm
worth
using
it.
codes.
She's using codes and you should too. Go to our website and it's great because you get the fresh ingredients right to your door and these delicious recipes. You can customize it, change it up, schedule which days you want and all that. It is so good. Really high quality stuff and tasty, tasty recipes. Farm fresh ingredients. I love it for summer the best because I love summer ingredients and you guys will not be disappointed. Go to greenchef.com/braincandy50 and use code braincandy50 to get 50% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Go to greenchef.com/braincandy50. Use code braincandy50 to get 50% off plus 20% off your next 2 months.
It's such a great deal if you are a person who lives alone.
I know, right?
Because that is the biggest thing. When I was just buying groceries, like I'm throwing away half the stuff.
Yeah, this is no waste.
Like I can't throw away one more half a bag of spinach, Susie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That poor spinach.
I know. I laugh at it every time. I was like, and then when I do finish an actual bag, it feels the same as, what I imagine those people experience when they make it to the top of Everest.
Yeah.
Just
Our Everest is a bag of spinach.
Right.
Okay. So a brainiac sent me this little tidbit and I thought that we all needed to talk about it. So you know how like I really get annoyed when people put billionaires and especially like tech billionaires on these pedestals and act like they're otherworldly and deities.
Right.
And it's just like they're total goons, these weirdos. And this story was about Steve Jobs. That guy was real quirky. We already knew that.
Yeah.
But he was an arrogant SOB sometimes. And so I love finding out weird shit about him. And evidently, Steve Jobs soaked his feet frequently in toilet water. This was at work.
What?
Public toilets. Okay. And he believed it relieved stress.
Oh,
and
God.
He
It's
thought
causing stress for me.
He thought it would widen his blood vessels and increase circulation. So, like, when he was feeling stress, he would go into the public restrooms wherever he was and plop those Tootsies right in the toilet.
Okay. You know what? People are weird. People do weird things. Everybody does weird shit. We all do. I mean, you probably do weird things. I probably do weird things. I want to think, what are some weird things that I do?
Oh, you are you don't have an inner monologue, so you do a lot of, you know how you do like audible yawns, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like all morning long, all while you're getting
Do
ready.
I really?
Yeah. And when you don't need to yawn, you'll just make a noise instead. So you'll yawn loud and then you go, and it's like all morning long. I always think, does she want to talk?
I have absolutely no awareness of this. This is the first I'm hearing of this. This is so funny. Okay. I feel like that might be some sort of self-regulate. Like I am like regulating my system or something like that. Like, calming myself. There's some soothing, like, because they do like humming and those kind of things.
Or because Adam and you are very similar, and he does this thing where he, people sing in the shower. That's not weird, but his is like a scream. It's like, yeah, and I'm always like, what is happening? And I've theorized that he's trying to wake himself up because ADHD people, I think, have trouble like waking up.
That's it.
So maybe you're doing a more civilized version.
Yeah.
Of like, let's get up, everybody inside my body, all the cells, wake up.
That is bizarre. Yep.
And
That'll be
I
one
take
of them.
baths like a toddler, so I have that going on. That's weird.
Yeah.
Everybody has weird shit, but the difference is nobody's trying to like build statues of us and like act like we're special geniuses.
Right. Everybody's just a person.
I can't wait to hear what Elon Musk, because like whenever he's long gone, we'll find out.
He does weird things.
The weirdest.
And it's I think it's always strange when your children don't want to have anything to do with you, and you are
looking at you, Brad Pitt.
It's a big and there's like so much reason to be.
Yeah, there's so much incentive to.
So much incentive.
Yeah, play nice.
Right. It's like, what's
But
up
I don't
there?
know what could be much worse besides like a crime than putting your feet routinely in public toilets.
Right. That's the same as if you told me he had like a booger wall.
Yeah.
You know, like little boys love to have like a wall where they've like
Remember when we were driving to Philly and I hear Sarah in the back seat like doing something, and I'm like, Sarah, what is happening back there? And you're like, I think Lincoln may have swiped a few boogies on the back of this seat.
I gotta clean it. I gotta clean it.
Okay, so that's special stories sent to us from Bryn. Thank you. That is a hoot.
That's very funny.
Steve Jobs is super weird. Yeah. Okay,
I'll never. That is going to be a very fun piece of random facts. Like when I am in the dating market again, and I'll be like, you want to know something weird? Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Dipped the old feetsies.
Yeah.
All 10 piggies in public toilets to relieve stress. Let's chat about it.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts.
Totally.
That's at least 20 minutes of a date and funny material. And boom.
Great for a cocktail party.
Great.
Next time you're like
welcome.
Trying to kill dead air, be like Steve Jobs Tootsies.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Just imagining him in that black turtleneck.
Right.
Do you think he like hikes it up a little bit to not like get what?
Yeah, I can see him like rolling them.
Oh, I have so many questions. Pants. Where is he sitting? Is this one at a time? I think
up on the tank. That's what I'm picturing. Oh, it's one at a time. That's more reasonable. It's probably one at a time.
No, that's weirder. I think up on the tank makes more sense now.
I
But then
was
you have to really
picturing
find
him-
a specific toilet.
Picturing him perched on the tank.
That makes more sense, like a la the thinker.
Yeah. Well, and he was like Buddha. He was into Buddhism, so I can see him thinking this is some sort of weird ritual. You know what I mean?
I
Kind of.
don't, but do.
All
Oh,
right,
God.
This story is a long one, so just sit with me because this is kind of like using Sarah for free therapy, kind of. Okay, so I'll begin the story by saying that I'm trying to watch every single 30 for 30 ever made. And this documentary series has been on the air for 15 years. So this is going to take a while. And my apologies to the Brainiac community for having to hear all these stories.
I love them.
But I had read on Instagram, they did a post and said, hey, everybody, what's your favorite 30 for 30? It's our 15-year anniversary. And so I was looking through the comments to see, like, is there a certain one that, like, really people loved? And a lot of people chose this one called The U. And so I watched it, and it was about the University of Miami had this really crappy football program, and they were about to cancel it. And so they brought in this like last ditch effort coach, like, please save the program. And he decided, because in the inner city in Miami, football is religion, that he was going to recruit from these high risk neighborhoods that normally these kids would never go to college in the first place. But he was going to like get these awesome players, but they were underserved and whatever, lower economics and stuff. So he ended up with this team. He's a white coach. He ends up this team of all these inner city black youth who are like, you know, more in keeping with like black culture and the ways in which you were, for example, to celebrate a touchdown, the dancing, but also, you know, more of a leaning towards violence and being rough and aggression.
Yeah.
And white people, didn't like it, that they felt that it was like gross and bad sportsmanlike conduct and whatever. And I didn't know this, but the coach was like encouraging it and being like, just do it, whatever. If we win, who cares?
Right.
And like, you know, you might get penalties and stuff, but
if white kids were doing it, would they care?
Right. But there is that thing, you know, like when it's the funniest thing to me that like I know, because I think this way. My knee-jerk reaction is to be like, that is not civilized. It's not sportsmanlike. It's not
across
good
the board.
manners. Right.
Yeah.
But then like I'm like, football is the most violent nonsense sport. That why would it be okay to play that, but then like you can't be aggressive in any other way? And it made me think of the challenge, how I say they hire us to be impolite and to be outlandish and uncensored and break the rules. But then like if you do anything that production doesn't like, then you get penalized for it. And you have to stay within this very weird parameters
that they're always reinventing and creating. And
like you can beat each other up on the show, but like you have to show up on time for your interview day or whatever. It just is the dumbest thing ever. So once I reframed it that way, I thought, you know what, I kind of like that they're playing like that and playing dirty and getting it done how they know how and shaking things up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought, oh, I see why people like this one. And then the next one that people liked was called Catholics versus Convicts. And I didn't know, but it was also about the Miami team and that they were going to be playing Notre Dame. And so Notre Dame, of course, is a Catholic school and, you know, esteemed and thinks they're all fancy. Yeah. And they're going to be playing this rivalry with Miami, who they think are thugs.
Yeah.
And so there was this student at Notre Dame who would sell like bootleg t-shirts, you know, like they'd make funny things on the t-shirts and he would make a couple bucks. And so he made a shirt that said Catholics versus Convicts, and it was like huge. Everybody wanted this shirt, and including like famous people and politicians and stuff, because were framing this rivalry as good versus evil, black versus white, and like civilized versus savage, this tropes of racism.
Right.
But a lot of them were convicts and were getting in trouble with the law in Miami. And so it wasn't exactly false, but it was like low hanging fruit.
Right. And if you really dug in, there's a lot of those guys in Notre Dame getting into a lot of trouble just for getting
Sarah.
it brushed under the rug and have rich parents who pay off the...
Yeah, and literally these T-shirts are against the law. They're bootleg. They're not licensed.
Yeah.
They're under the table. That kid making them and all the kids selling them are doing something illegal to demonstrate how they're good.
Right.
So then people got mad about the T-shirts too, like in Miami, and they were like, that's gross to act like you're better than or holier than. So here's where I got confused on my opinion. Because I thought, well, if Miami's allowed to play dirty, are we saying Notre Dame can't? As I wanted to put it to you and say, what is your position? I mean, just based on the little I've told you. Like, is it anything goes and we can sort of, or not? Right? It's tricky.
It is tricky because it feels more like putting
Is it the hypocrisy? Because they're trying to say that they're Christian good
it's the
boys.
hypocrisy.
Okay.
That's it. Yes. That's
Okay.
it. That I couldn't think because I'm like it's not punching
different.
down. It's not like it's the hypocrisy of it. It's saying that they're that way and then acting not that way. Holier than.
Yeah, I guess that's where I landed. But I thought it was really interesting, and part of why I love sports documentaries is because it just synthesizes what exists in culture outside of sports, and these ideas of like race and class and like hard work and all these themes that exist really clearly in sports that help show us about culture.
It's so interesting. And then there can be this pride and joy felt from being a member of an in-group, but if you are that implies that there's an out-group. And then that hate and animosity and anger, whatever, expressed towards the out-group, I feel like we're losing more from the feelings of like hate or like the clashing between two groups like is more of a loss than we are winning with coming together and being part of the in-group. Like I feel like something shifted, like culturally, like in societally, something where I don't know what I'm thinking, like what soccer games look like, and maybe it's always been that way.
Society.
Maybe it has. It mirrors society. Oh my God. Yeah. Yes.
And then
I've got a story for next episode that is so right in line with this. I mean, it's not really a doozy, but I think it's like fits what you're saying.
Yeah. Because it was really fun to watch. There was a lot more to it than just those ideas. And I could see why people really loved these narratives. And the players have enough distance now. It was so long ago that they laugh about it, and they have that perspective that you wish you had in the moment. because
Yeah.
at the moment it's heated.
Right.
Like those
right.
Miami guys would get off their plane for a game and in fatigues, like they were trying to provoke
Okay.
the ire and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And now
Well, I
they're
mean,
laughing
I feel like
about
if you
it.
can't beat them, join up. Like it feels like maybe that becomes like part of the team. I don't know. You lean into it in a way.
Yeah, it was great. So if you are on this 30 for 30 journey with me, you can check them out. Um, and you should also check out Lola V, because who doesn't want good hair?
Hello.
Best.
Yeah. Every time I give myself the time to really do a hair mask, I have the best hair week afterwards.
How
Like-
often is that recommended? Like, what's ideal for
Weekly.
you? Okay, weekly.
And
you
then
need to set time aside.
I know. It's like a
Yeah.
whole thing. And it's like, oh gosh, I got to wash my hair because then you got to shampoo it twice and blah, 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 blah. It's fine. It's a whole thing. But it's like when you got a lot of hair, I should not complain.
It's a production.
It's just
Yeah.
so, but when I actually do it and, oh my God, because what you want is the balance between moisture and protein. And they have done a really good job at Lola V to balance out the moisture and protein. It usually goes between being like
Too much or too little?
too much, yeah, too frizzy or too dry. And I just love their stuff. And the glossing detangler,
It's really nice.
Is the
leave-in
best.
spray. Sarah gets very professorial about hair, and it cracks me up. But it's
Whoa.
because she has to be.
I do get like, but if you're somebody with curly hair, then you
Yeah.
understand how much garbage there is out there and how often you just are disappointed with products.
Yeah.
And it
no
feels
longer.
like such a weight. I can't even think about the amount of money. I just tried these 2 like beachy summer products from another line. Nope. Going in
Mistake.
the garbage. Mistake.
Wow.
Mistake. That's why
Yeah.
I'm telling Lola V they need to expand to curl cream.
Ooh, okay. Well, tell them in the suggestion box. That's great. Unlock Jennifer Aniston's approved hair at lolav.com. As our loyal listeners, you get an exclusive 15% off your entire order when you use code BRAIN at checkout. That's 15% off your order at LOLAVIE.com with promo code BRAIN. Please note you can only use one promo code per order, and discounts can't be combined. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Your hair will thank you. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah. I said it on
Okay.
the other podcast too.
One more sports thing, and then I'll move on, I promise.
Yeah.
Okay, there was also one that I watched about the Miracle on Ice. Do you remember the 1980
Oh,
Olympics
yeah.
hockey,
Yes.
U.S.A. versus Russia? And since we're moving into the Olympic time and all that, it was real fun to watch. And you've seen the movie, right? The Disney movie?
No.
Oh, wow. With Kurt Russell?
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, you would like it. We were
I
watching
know
it
I
with
would.
Link.
I think I was a little bit too young when that movie came out for it. I feel like
That
it,
was
like
2003.
12, 13. 2003?
Yeah, the movie was, yeah.
I was not too young. Never mind. Nope.
Yeah, you can tune in.
Maybe it was the opposite. I was too old.
Probably.
I
You were
was
busy.
17 and like I'm not watching that
She was
Disney
wilding
movie.
out. Yeah, right. Well, I did love the Disney movie, but the documentary 30 for 30 that they did about the Miracle was great because it was from the Russian point of view.
Ooh,
Right?
interesting.
Twisting it up. It was
How
30
opposite
for
of
30.
Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, because all we ever hear about is the miracle. Do you believe in miracles? You know,
Yes,
the
I do know
announcer.
that audio.
And this was like, oh, because history's written by the victors. And so you don't really think too much about like what it was like to be on the other side.
Yes.
These guys, they put into context of like the Cold War and what it was like in Russia at that time, and how these guys were like trained constantly, and they would have to do these choreographies, even like they would watch ballets and stuff and then have to do them all on the ice, like not dance routines,
Right,
but like
right.
the body movements.
Yeah.
So that like the goalie would do like all these crazy like
Oh, wow.
karate chops and stuff to try to prevent the puck from going in. Whatever. They were just demonstrating these guys worked their buns off, and they were the best in the world. And the U.S. was the underdog. We were definitely not supposed to do well or especially not win. Okay, so then we win and it's great for us and whatever. And there they played the audio that went out in Russia that was like not saying, "Do you believe in miracles?" And they just were like, "We will stop announcing in 5, 4," and then it just goes blank. And the game ends. They cut it off, nothing, and then they never talked about it.
What?
They didn't put it in the papers. The Olympians never got their medals etched with their names because they were like, they got a second place.
Oh my God.
They
Wow.
were devastated and ashamed. And
they did. Ooh.
And the director asked the one guy who's
like,
old, obviously, in the documentary. I don't know how old he was, but they were like, "Did you watch Miracle, the movie?" And he was like, "Let the Americans watch their Miracle." And he was like, comparing it to like if a 15-year-old runs up and kisses Sophia Loren, he's never going to shut up about it. That's what he's going to talk about the rest of his life.
Oh.
But Sophia Loren won't even remember it tomorrow because you're nothing.
Oh, that's a good way to spin it.
I was like, oh.
That is a good. That is a. Wow. I'm going to take a page from the Russian book of history.
Fighting. Yeah.
Yeah. That is how I am going to fight.
Yeah, because they really were Sophia Loren. And after that victory that we had, we didn't have another one for like 15 years. Like Russia was number one in every.
Right. They're like,
good for you.
Okay.
You kiss Sophia Loren.
Right.
You can have your.
You know when you like play a game of like basketball, whatever, with a little kid.
Right.
And you're like, all right, I'm going to go hard on you. And you win the first 4 games, but then you like let them win one. And then you go back to winning because you don't want them to get a like.
Big head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that was fascinating because it just flipped the script.
Wow. I want to watch that. These are so good, Suze.
And then, but it is sad because then I start reading about it and it is sad what happened to players on both sides because of the CTE in hockey.
Oh, God.
And a lot of those players really
We need
suffered.
new sports.
Oh, my God.
We really do. I mean, I was rolling my eyes a little bit about how breakdancing is in there, but you know what? Let there be great.
You're
Breakdance,
right.
I'm glad.
You just
and you know
talked me
what?
into that.
Skateboarding, great. I bet there's way fucking less CTE with skateboarding than there is with a lot of these other sports and a lot of other things that they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, because remember when we talked about
we need
the new stupid ass slap fighting?
Right.
And like they have rules and whatever, and they were trying to argue this is a legitimate sport and comparing it to other violent sports. But I had read something that pointed out the difference, which is that in every other sport, football and hockey included, there is incredible skill involved and there is an actual game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a point to it and people have to develop and talent and skill and whatever. And slap fighting is literally standing in one place and being able to withstand blunt force trauma to the head.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no other game.
Even in boxing, there are...
Yes, it's ballet.
It's so much stuff, yeah.
I mean, I don't like that kind of thing, and I wish these guys didn't do it.
Right.
But it's way better than...
Absolutely.
Dumbasses.
Absolutely.
Get therapy, people. That's all I ask.
Oh, my God. Right.
Okay. Let's move out of the sports. Susie's out of control. Yeah. LA Times did this really cute article about, I'm sure you've seen them because they're on the West Coast. There's these pizza boxes that are famous where it's just the brown cardboard box. And then on the image on the front is like a red like brick oven scene.
Yeah.
And the one chef is in the foreground and he looks like they designed him to look like an actual person.
Yeah.
But then there's chef in the back that has like the thing to go into the oven. He looks like a cartoon. And you got to Google it.
Box. I definitely know this.
Yeah, if you do LA Times pizza boxes,
Okay.
it'll probably be the first thing. And they were talking about how it's sort of this cult thing online and Reddit and stuff where people talk about this pizza box because it's so weird and it makes no sense. And then there's a line at the bottom of the box that says, "Enjoy your delicious moments,"
Yes.
with an exclamation point, which is like, what does that even mean? And
Oh my gosh.
so they were trying to figure out the story. Who designed this box and
That's
why?
so funny.
Why is there one normal guy and one cartoon guy?
I've definitely seen this box.
Definitely everybody has, I think.
That's so wild. Okay, tell me the story.
Well,
Wow, I'm so glad that journalism,
yes.
podcasts,
Yes.
these things exist. Because I'll never forget when you told me the history of the lawn chair, and I was like, we're never going to run out of things to talk about ever in a million years. And we are now, somebody found the weirdest pizza box and is going to explain it. And I am so excited to hear about it. And
Okay.
who knew?
These boxes are sold by a company called Restaurant Depot, based in New York. And this particular design is only available on the West Coast for some reason. That they don't say why, but they're distributed in the West Coast. And it's very cheap and affordable. So a lot of pizza restaurants, buy them just because it's affordable and it gets the grease off the thing and whatever. And then I think because it went kind of viral on Reddit, people talk about it all the time, that Restaurant Depot will not say like the story behind the image.
So strange.
Do you think that like the reason they won't tell like who designed it and what it's all about is because like they don't know?
No, I think it was more like a cobbled together, like somewhere there's like a copyright infringement going on. Like if you were to investigate, it looks like a like paint job, like copy and paste.
Yes, that's the words they use. Copy and paste, like graphic design.
Yes, this
stock.
See, I fucking know.
Yeah,
this is a copy and paste. Back in the day when we just had like Microsoft Paint.
That's right.
And you could, that is it. These are two separate, where they wanted to have a scene of somebody putting the pizza into the oven, and they couldn't figure out how to do that, and this is what they came up with. This is what we got.
I think so. And so maybe like that story is less satisfying than it being a mystery. So they're just like, let's just like let them guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They don't want to say we copied this brand and this brand, and then they can't say that.
And then they did say that it is
like, plead the fifth.
I think they said that it's made in Asia, which probably explains why the phrase at the bottom is like weird.
Yeah.
Enjoy your delicious moments! Exclamation. Because like whoever
I
says
wonder
delicious
what it would have been. What it really was.
Yeah, like Bon Appetit.
It's something like pizza time. Like it's time, not moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think it's something like gathering together for pizza, or gathering like moment. Take the time to
savor.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it turned into celebrate
enjoy your delicious moments.
Yeah.
And then people think that like that phrase is so weird, but it's also like kind of great.
Yeah. Enjoy your delicious moments.
It's like a command.
It is. Your delicious moments. Were you even a little girl if you didn't save the white thing that came in the deliveries to be a doll table?
You said it. You said it, Sarah.
That was the rule.
Did everyone do that?
Everyone. There's no way.
Yeah. But like, were you always frustrated that it's like not really the right size?
It's
for like
not
Barbie?
the right size. It's more of a side table.
Or a footstool. It's not even a side table.
It's not even a side table.
It's so low.
It is.
I was always mad about it. Like I would
I
see
get
the
you.
vision
Yeah.
and then be like, this is not going to work.
I know. It's terrible.
Were
We
there
barely have
any
a
other,
picnic
like,
on this.
makeshift Barbie furniture items? Because that was the main one for me.
I mean, the number one. And it was like, it was Friday night pizza night every week at our house. That was
That's
like the
great.
thing. Usually we had a babysitter that night, or I was watching, and we didn't want to like burn the house down.
Yeah.
So it was like mom's leaving $9.99 for pizza.
Yes.
And that was.
What was your go-to spot? Was it like a local joint or?
Yeah, Topper's Pizza.
Toppers.
The fucking best. I could easily put down a large Topper's Pizza today. And have.
God.
When I first moved back to Thousand Oaks, that was in fact,
that's your Chili's.
either tonight or maybe it's Friday night. For camp, there is the camp rally, like parents' night, being held at Topper's Pizza.
No.
It is where we went for every sports team, everything, every game. They still have the salad bar that for a long time, I held the top score on Bust a Move at the arcade in the back, but then they remodeled like story of the same thing that happened in Friends or Seinfeld or probably all those, shows.
What do you mean?
Where they unplug the machine and then you get your score wiped out.
And it reset. That is devastating.
Or also people could have come in and beat my score. I'm sure.
I doubt it.
I was really good. And when I get obsessed with something, I get obsessed.
I have laughed several times since our last meeting about how you said you crushed it at camp in the romance department.
I did.
You were like, I crushed it. You were so serious.
It's when I fucking peaked. It's when my moves were the best. Now,
so are you telling me that
mediocre.
Topper's Pizza is like a chain but local?
No, I'm saying it is a one spot. Maybe there's a few.
Okay,
there
so
might be. There might
you grew
be.
Up at is also the one you're doing at camp? Same location and everything?
It's the same camp I go to. I've been going to the same camp 30 years.
Your camp was right by your house?
Well, it was through the Conejo Valley YMCA. And then, so how summer camps usually work is there'll be a camp in like Big Bear or, any of these wildernessy outdoor areas.
Yeah.
And then they rent out, they have resident staff who work there, and the camp itself is staffed by people who do like the maintenance and the kitchen staff and the lifeguards and stuff like that. And then they rent out the camp for like $50,000 to each of these different like local YMCAs or Boys and Girls Club or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were the Conejo Valley YMCA that would go and rent this camp for a week out of the year. And that would be the year that, and so each different.
So but if your mom, let's say you had a bad week and your mom had to come get you, which I know never happened.
Right. Well, I was only there for 1 week at this camp. I would go to a few different resident camps, but
but you went every year.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she would be just like 5 minutes away.
No. We were 4 hours. Actually, Big Bear, we were like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Okay.
But yeah,
I thought since
now
you
we're
had
like
Toppers,
5 or 6
that it
hours.
was like right down the
No,
road.
but the YMCA is that we would go to where they had the day camp, and we would go for like the rest of the weeks of the summer where we would do day camp.
Got it.
Mom comes and picks you up at the end of the day. That was right next to Toppers.
Man, you were living the dream. You really had a nice childhood.
I really did. I
That's
really
good,
did.
except for all the abuse and
I mean,
trauma. Oh my God. What am I talking about?
It was picturesque and idyllic, minus the childhood abuse.
Sarah, I mean, it really was highs and lows.
I told you, this is my life. Highs and
story
lows.
of your life.
Story of my life. It's fine. I'm fine with that. Highs and lows. It's okay.
All right. Well, anyway, that LA Times article is great. So check it out if you love pizza as much as we clearly do.
Oh my God, Toppers.
How about how there's this lady that survived a skydiving accident. Like she fell and didn't die.
What do you mean? Did she run into was there a tree that how
No,
do you how?
Okay.
There's no way
Well,
you can hit the ground at that force.
I know.
I've jumped off ledges and feel like I'm going to break both my ankles.
That is so true.
I'm like,
For real.
oh God,
I've
collapse,
stubbed
full
my
collapse.
toe.
Right. So tell
And
me
thought I
how
was gonna die.
at G-force or whatever they call that. What they call that?
Yeah, right.
Maximum
Well,
velocity. Yeah.
She jumped out of this helicopter at 14,000 feet. It was tandem, so there was a dude strapped to her back in Switzerland, and she landed in an empty cow pasture, so it was like softer than normal ground.
No,
But
I don't care if you land on pillows. If you're falling from 30,000 feet,
I don't know why, but
we've all done that egg experiment in school where you throw it doesn't matter at a certain
that's
point.
a good example though, because really I think what we all imagine is that when you have an issue skydiving, there's just like no parachute, but that's not what really happens. Like there is some fabric flapping around, which does slow you down.
Okay.
But it's still almost impossible to survive. So in her case, she and her best friend are jumping out, and the guy does that thing where, have you been skydiving?
Yes, against my will.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
Susie reminding me of all my trauma on this episode. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, when they will say, we'll tap you on the shoulder when we're about to pull the thing, so you kind of brace yourself for like the jolt when the parachute opens. So he taps her on the shoulder, and she braces for the thing, and then nothing happens. So it's like, what the F?
Right.
And then she can feel him like moving around and stuff, and then she eventually looks back, and he's passed out. Right? So she's got this like weekend at Bernie's on her back.
We don't. This is why no helicopter. No, I'm not doing any of these fucking stupid things. No.
So I think that the second, the emergency parachute tried to open, and then he like got caught in it, and it made him pass out. So he's unconscious on her back.
My God.
And then the parachutes aren't fully open. It's just fabric flapping around. And she's ready to die. She's about to hit the earth, and then lands and is still awake.
Did she not die because she landed on him?
No, but if it were me, I would have tried to position it that way. I got to be honest. I was thinking
life or death. I mean,
they both survived, Sarah.
Wow.
Is that not unbelievable?
Oh. But describe survived.
Okay, this is maybe the craziest part, which is really saying something, because every part of the story is nuts, but she had severe spinal damage and couldn't feel her legs and was paralyzed from the waist down. But she can walk.
What?
Like, she can't feel her legs at all. They're paralyzed. But she got enough physical therapy where they were able to teach her how to still move your legs even though you can't feel them. Wow. Is that not I've never heard of that.
I can understand that because of people who have like my brother has nerve damage in his back, and there's a part of his foot that he can't feel.
Okay.
And so if you just extended that farther up, it made that area larger, I could imagine. He can still move his foot fine, but he can't, it doesn't respond in the same way.
Yeah, I mean, she's not walking like a normal walker.
Right. Like certain rock climbing things he can't do because he's like, my foot won't
move that way or whatever.
Move it. He is telling it to move, and it won't.
Well, and she gets all kinds of problems because she can't feel her legs, so she might have a cut. She doesn't realize it, and then it gets infected, stuff like that. But what an extraordinary story.
Wow.
But I was intrigued as well about how she talked about how, she wrote a book about it. She did a TED talk about it, and she is happy to be an inspiration to people. But the risk for all of us, not just her, but of having your story become you or feel
Right.
like that, like
Right.
it is now replaced her in terms of how people connect with
Yeah.
her. They want to
Yeah.
hear about that. They want to hear about what was it like? What did you feel? And then she's lost almost in it.
Yeah.
I think that can happen to all of us. Even like
Absolutely.
if you're a dad and you get divorced and you're like the divorced dad or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or how
Stuff like
about
that.
if I think this happens often with, it's more frequent with men because they tend to have smaller social groups when they get older. At least this is what studies show, where when they retire and all of their friends were people that they knew through
Right.
their job, their only identity is, you know,
What they
me,
did for a living.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like, what do I do? You have to have a multifaceted
Mm-hmm.
identity.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that it would be bittersweet. Like you're happy you survived. You're sad that
Yeah.
you have to all these challenges. You're
Yeah.
sad that you have to talk about it constantly.
Yeah.
But if you saw a picture of her, first of all, she's beautiful and looks so healthy and vibrant, and Stan is in the picture, and you just think, wow, I would never guess.
I want to get the people who have survived uh, uh, being struck by lightning together with this person, with the people who have maybe survived, like just kind of like those.
Plane crashes.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
I just not to study them, not
Yeah.
to
What do you
anything,
want to
just to,
know?
I just want to listen to them talk to each other. I want to know what they talk about. I want to know what they like. If I think it's one thing when she's on stage giving a TED talk, inspiring people, but when there's a shared experience of survival and you don't have to like preach to somebody about the positives that could come from it, I would just be
Absolutely.
interested to know what that is like.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what they're thinking.
I am intrigued too about the old trope about like your life flashing before your eyes or whatever. Those
Yeah.
moments when you're aware that you're probably going to die, but you're not dead yet.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
that period of time is probably really
I
fascinating.
had that once, but I was too young to even realize it. And it was that time when I was swimming and almost drowned. And I remember thinking, "You're not dead yet. You're not dead yet." And I thought it 3 times, and then I didn't. Then I don't remember after that.
Did someone grab you or what?
Yeah, like just
Yeah.
pulled me up from the water. I don't
Man.
really remember.
Yeah. Right. And that's
But I
probably like your
definitely
body.
remember 3 times of saying you're not dead yet. I remember swimming and going, "Oh, you definitely don't have enough air to make it up to the top. Just kind of surrender." And it was peaceful.
Right.
It was very like not panicky. And
That
almost
is
like well, you're
terrible.
not dead yet. That's kind of like optimistic. At least
That's
that
good.
was what 14-year-old me was thinking, but I don't know what it would be like now. I feel like that would be so different with now a connection to people that I care about.
Yeah,
When you're
right.
thinking about, I was not at 13 thinking about a child or a loved one or, anything like that.
Yeah. All right.
Fascinating.
Let's wrap it up. Sorry for all the trauma,
No, this
including
was
but
such a
not
funny
limited to
episode. I loved this.
rattlesnakes,
Oh, don't remind me.
almost dying from skydiving, CTE.
Right. It's okay. I feel like I brought you a downer on the last one,
No,
the one before. So now we're just.
but I mean, I'm sorry for all the sports content, but the reason why you shouldn't be too mad, everybody, is because it's really not about sports. It's about being a person. So I hope
Yeah.
you're tolerant of it. And I hope if you've seen any of those and you have thoughts, let's like chat about it online. Thanks for always using our code and for subscribing and being wonderful. We love you so much.
Bye.
Bye everyone.